Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video. This one will be a review for the brand new Treehouse of Horror XXXII content update, which I'm just nicknaming the dinosaur update, okay? It's just easier. Treehouse of Horror, I hate the Roman numerals, it annoys me so much, alright? I don't deal with no Roman numerals, okay? So I'm just gonna say, it's the dinosaur update, okay? I think this update is a very mixed bag. Now, I think there is definitely good in this update for sure, and today we're going to go through all the content and review it all. I do think it's probably up there for one of the best updates. It's probably in the top 3, but that's not really saying much considering we've had some real stinkers this year. So yeah, it's nothing to be massively proud of. But like I said, there is some cool stuff in this update for sure. I do think the actual content itself is very awesome. It's just the biggest issue with this event for me is the structure and also the inconsistencies. And that's like my biggest critique of this update. The structure is garbage, and we get all of the awesome content is premium or super premium. And the crappy content is the stuff we get for free. Or like the very meh content is the stuff we get for free. Apart from maybe buildings. There are some cool buildings we're getting in the prize track. But yeah, like I said, today we're going to go through and review it all. That's just my initial thoughts anyway of the update. I really love this splash screen though, gotta say that. I think this is definitely a splash screen that's up there for me. It does look really awesome. So I'll give them that one. I think the splash screen is cool as shit. But yeah, so let's go through today. We're going to, of course, go start off with the structure and theme, and we'll talk a bit about that, and then also we'll talk about the tappable stuff that we have in this update, which they're continuing from the Breakout Bounty, which is also very neat. Then we're going to go on and talk about the store and some of the stuff that they've re-added. Then we're going to talk about characters and costumes and NPCs. Finally, we'll do a building showcase and decoration showcase for the stuff that is so far unlockable. And then at the end of this video, I'll kind of give you my overall feels for the update as a whole. So let's get into it by starting off with the structure and theme. So of course, the theme of this one is pretty self-explanatory. It's all about dinosaurs. Now, it's mainly based on the geriatric park section from Treehouse of Horror. God, I forget what it was. But it was the Treehouse of Horror where we got the tree stash, I believe. I think it's the same one. I think so. Or maybe not the tree stash. Oh no, Xylem. Sorry, that guy. Yeah, it's mainly based on that Treehouse of Horror segment. Basing it on one Treehouse of Horror segment is not necessarily a bad thing. I think it can be a very good thing. But it does spill into the Dr. Hibbett's, Mad Dr. Hibbett's Island segment. It spills into that, as well as the Avatar parody segment they did that one year. So it kind of has all three of them, but it's mainly focused on the geriatric park thing. I think it's, from looking at the future quest lines, or just the general overview of the story, I think it's tied in fine. It's not anything amazing, but it's tied in okay. I think it is loosely connective. But there is just one thing that really annoys me, and that's that this really isn't a Treehouse of Horror update. This is just a dinosaur update, okay? Because, yeah, it's based on a Treehouse of Horror segment, but there's nothing really spooky about this one, you know? It's just dinosaurs. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Magic update, but not even, because the Magic update at least has some, like, I don't know, like mystical elements to it. This one is just all sort of sci-fi. It's kind of based on, you know, creating dinosaurs. It's a sci-fi concept. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing necessarily, but it does take a little bit away from people who enjoy the Treehouse of Horror we get every year. I actually prefer this one too. I'm just like a bummer when it comes to Treehouse of Horror updates, so I kind of like the theme of it. But you could understand if some people are a little bit mad, or not, maybe not mad, but a bit upset that it's not a proper Treehouse of Horror update. Now, in terms of the prize track, as you can see here, of course it is a multi-event, which means it's a mini-event repeated 4 times, pretty much. And you can see the prizes that we're getting. So, obviously in Act 1, it starts off with the Geriatric Park Burns, which is a costume. Then it's Geriatric Park Front Gate. The Geriatric Park Helicopter is then the third prize, and the fourth prize is the Geriatric Park Exploration Pods, and then the fifth and final prize is the Geriatric Park Visitors Centre. I think, personally, this is structured poorly. Geriatric Burns is not a very cool costume as is, so this might be a bit controversial, but I think they should have just given us that as the first prize, and then given us a character as the last prize. I don't know, that's just me, personally, but then we would have maybe missed out on some of these cool things. But then, with, like, the front gate, for example, like, I don't see what the problem is putting the front gate in the store, personally. I don't see the issue with that. Just chuck it in the store and make it, like, a bit of cash. For cash, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. Act 2 is also terrible. We're getting, like, 3 vehicles, an animation, and a building. Act 3 is is probably the best act, to be honest, but we're getting Comic Book Ram as the final prize. And Act 4 is an NPC, a costume for Marge, a building, and 2 decorations. I think Act 4's okay. It's not great, but it's okay structured, because Marge is the second to last prize, the costume for Marge, which I'm not too bothered about. I think if it's the second to last, I'm normally cool with it, or I'll let it slide. But when they have, like, a character, like, halfway through the prize track, I think it just ruins the flow of the unlocking, especially when it's, like, a crappy decoration that you're unlocking as the last prize. It's kind of lackluster. But yeah, that's my opinions in terms of the structure. I think it's poor, but there you go. It seems to be a trend we're getting this year, so I can't knock it above more than any other updates we got this year, apart from maybe Rise of Robots. But at the very least, tokens on replacing prizes in the prize track, which is a good thing. So I'll give it props for that. Then we've got the Dinosaurs Guide, or the Tappable Guide. So there is actually tappables in this update, but it's kind of weird because you don't have to tap them for the first part, or the second part, or the third part, or the fourth part. You have to tap them for the 5th part, and the 5th part only, which is very unusual, actually. I don't know why they've did that. I mean, I personally love it, because it makes things easier, but, like, yeah, it's a bit odd as to why it's only for the 5th part. I personally think that I kind of don't see the point, really. Like, why bother if you're not going to make them, like, an integral part of the update? I'm a bit indifferent about it, because it's like, one part of me is thinking, yeah, fair enough, it'd be very tedious if you had to do it for every single part, which I kind of agree with. I think having it done for every single part would probably be a bit too much, or at the very least, it shouldn't be 15 for every part. It should be like 5 for one part, then maybe 7, then maybe 10, then maybe 12, then 15. Like, do it like that, like, so gradually have it come up. Yeah. I personally think it should have been probably in the other parts as well, though, for me, at least. Very odd that it's only in the 5th part. Maybe that's going to be... I don't know if that's going to be the same for each act. Maybe in Act 2 it will be a bit different. Maybe it'll be for another part as well, but at least for Act 1, it's only for one part, which is very weird. I don't see the point of adding them if you're going to make it just so a minor thing, but I guess it's a cool feature nonetheless. So I wanted to talk about the store. Okay, I've got, like, a big gripe with this. I'll start off first with the thing on the right, and that's the Geriatric Park walls. Why are they donuts? This is just stupid. They shouldn't be donuts, they should be cash. And I think back to the zoo update, I'm pretty confident those walls, the walls where you could build all your zoo up, right? They were cash, I believe. I'm just gonna have to check now. But I'm pretty sure they were cash, because if you make them donuts, it makes it very hard for players to actually build up their geriatric park, because they're not cheap. It's 30 donuts for a bundle of how many? I can't even read that, I'm not gonna lie. But it's 30 donuts for a bundle of, you guys can read it, but I can't in the preview, 20 walls. Which isn't that great, you can't really build like a massive park with 20 walls. And also, the walls are so annoying. You have to flip them one way to connect them to the gate, which I find annoying. Connecting them is a bit like, if you want to make like a corner, that is incredibly difficult. The walls are just not easy for me personally. I've only had like a little bit of a play around with them, so maybe there's someone who's actually like built a proper park, and maybe there's a way of doing it that's kind of easy. Maybe I've just missed out. But yeah, it's just really weird that they've made them donuts. Because yeah, the wall, the Springfield Zoo wall, and the animal habitat wall, and the two animal habitat walls, and the Springfield Zoo wall from the Mozark update were 10 cash and 5 cash. They were like the cheapest shit ever. So even new players could buy them and create their little park. And so I don't understand why they haven't done the same for this. Make the walls cash. Why are they donuts? It's like you're advertising that you want players to make like their geriatric park or their Jurassic Park little thing, but you've restricted it to basically premium players and hackers. Yeah, I just really don't like that. I think the walls should have been cash. It's really stupid that they're not. And another thing is, they've basically kind of used this as like the sequel to the zoo update, which is kind of funny. Yeah, obviously a lot of the zoo content from the Mozark update is all returning, which I'm cool with. I think it makes sense for it all to return in this update. But again, it does just play into the fact that this really isn't a Treehouse of Horror update. This is just a dinosaur update, which yeah, it's kind of funny. But in terms of the store, I'm not particularly happy with it. I think there's too much shit in here that's donuts. And as well, like, the geriatric park walls should really just be cash. I think it's kind of scummy that they're not, because it's like false advertisement almost. It's like, you know, you get to build your zoo, but like, or you get to build your Jurassic Park, but like, oh, psych, sorry. If you want walls, you have to give us cash to get them, or you have to grind out donuts. Yeah, I really don't like that thing. I think there's a massive issue with Tapped Out for me personally, where cash, for me anyway, I know it's not for other players who grind and stuff, but cash for me is like pointless. There's no point of me having cash. I earn cash and I never spend it, because I don't need to. There's nothing in the store. I have to spend it. If I had these walls, I could spend it. I mean, granted, not much, but I could still spend it. Yeah, so I really think they should just have added them for cash. Real disappointing that they didn't. Let's go through the characters that we're getting. So obviously in Act 1, there's a few characters you can get. Well, there's one character you can get, actually. I tell a lie. It's just Grandpasaurus. There's a few costumes and stuff that you can get, though, so we'll go through all of it. But yeah, in terms of the characters, here they all are. So obviously in Act 3, I think. Yeah, Act 3, we're going to be getting Comic Book Ram, and I think he looks cool. We'll have to see about his animations and stuff, though. And then the rest of the characters, the rest are premium, so screw you, free players. You don't get any characters. You get one. You get Comic Book Ram. But if you want any more characters, you gotta give us cash. So, yeah. Flipping you off. Like I said, I think this is really disappointing. I said before, the fact that there's only one character in the prize track is so annoying, especially when there's so many cool characters. Look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters, and you're only going to have one of them be in the prize track? Come on, give us at least 2. Just chuck a costume in the store. Why not? Like, what's the problem with just chucking, I don't know, which one's free? God, you know, because even the costumes are bad, because, like, the prize tracks feel like Act 2 doesn't even have a character or costume. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's really annoying. So you got Grandpasaurus there. He's the first for Act 1 Premium. Then Act 2, you got the Over-Under Beast, who is the Act 2 Premium. I think he looks awesome. Obviously, it's a Stranger Things parody, but I think it would be cool to get him, the Demogorgon. And then Act 3, you got Panther Marge. I think all the furries are probably happy. This one's fine, I guess, but I really agree that it should be a costume, as well as Comic Book Ram. Comic Book Ram and Panther Marge both should be costumes, because Dr. Hibbert, Mad Dr. Hibbert, that's a costume, and it's from that segment of the episode. So if that's a costume, then the others should be costumes, surely. It only makes sense. It really annoys me because it's inconsistent. And same with Grandpasaurus. We've got the Geriatric Park Burns as a costume. So why is Grandpasaurus a character? He should be a costume. It's just inconsistent, and it annoys me. I'm fine with just adding characters, but be consistent about it. Yeah, Geriatric Park Burns would be an awful character, and I would complain anyway that he should be a costume. That's not going to change, because I think that Grandpasaurus should be a costume, and I think that Panther Marge should be a costume, and Comic Book Ram should be a costume. So, yeah, massive inconsistencies there that really just annoy me. And then finally, what I think is probably the best character in the update is the sentient Lord Lad statue. I'm hoping to God that his animations are awesome and his questline is brilliant. I'm like really excited for him. He's definitely the highlight for me in this update. So I just want to make sure, I'm hoping that he's got good ass quests and good ass animations. We'll have to see. But I'm still excited at least to get him. Then we got some costumes. Let's go through the costumes. So we've obviously got Geriatric Park Burns, which I think is a fine enough costume. It's like a meh one. I mean, you kind of need it to start the event. I think it's better that they add it than not add it. But at the same time, I'm still not going crazy about it. I think it's fine. I know it's kind of leading the update, but it's basically Burns leading the update, and this costume is just something you get on top. Bionaut Marge, I have no idea about this one. We'll have to see. Just from the look, it doesn't look anything too special, but maybe it's gonna be some awesome animations and stuff. So I'll just have to hold my horses on commenting too much on that one. Mecha Charmers, that one looks really awesome. Looks really cool. I actually can't wait for this costume. I think this one will be a very cool costume. I think it's definitely the best costume in the update, and it's the only one that they make premium. This is what I mean. All the cool shit is fucking premium. And then finally, you got Test Subject Bart, which is a costume for Bart, but it really should be a costume for Mooch Bart, I'm pretty sure, right? This is what Spring King said. And it comes with a tray full of donuts for 132 donuts. It's super premium, so screw super premium. And it's a costume for super premium. It's so weird. They don't tend to add costumes to super premium. I think the last time they did it was Donut Homer, right? I mean, it's kind of cool. If it was added as like just a prize track, it'd be fine. But in the prize track, or added even as just normal premium, it'd probably be fine. But it's super premium, so you know how I feel about super premium. Fuck super premium. So there we go. Let's move on to NPCs. So, here are the NPCs. We're getting the Sentient Red Devil Realty sign in Act... I don't even know what Act that was. 4, I think. Yeah, it's in Act 4. And I think this dude is cool. He's a cool NPC. But I have to say it. It's inconsistent. Because... why isn't he a character, considering we're getting Sentient Lord Lad Donut statue as a character as well? Like, this guy was not massively prominent in the episode, not as much as the Lord Lad, but still, he was there. I don't see why you can't give him tasks and quests. Yeah, that's just my personal view. I think he should have tasks and quests, really. I think it would be a cool little added feature, and especially because... they could have made like a bigger update out of that segment where all the things come to life, right? I don't know. I just think that they could have given him tasks. I'm fine. I'm not like massively butthurt on it, but I think that they could have given him tasks and quests. I think on the sort of wider scheme of things, I think this one I'm less offended by than the others that should be costumes or characters, etc, etc. This one's like a low scale one. I'm not that bothered really, but I do think it makes it a little bit inconsistent. But however, he does look awesome, so I'll let him off the hook. And then we have the Hadrosaur Bouvier. Oh my Jesus Christ. Okay, so you do super premium, but do two super premium items, 2 of them in the store? This is a bit too far for me. I think adding 1 is fine, but adding 2 is like another thing, especially considering this is an NPC. This is an NPC, and it should really be a character because Grandpasaurus is a character, but actually it should be a costume. I think at the very least it should be a character, so it's the same as Grandpasaurus. But I do still stand by, I think Grandpasaurus should be a costume. But it should be a character at the very least. And it's not, it's an NPC. And it's so bizarre. Why add a doppelganger of Marge's mother as an NPC? And like, especially when the same, a doppelganger of Grandpa from the same episode and segment of that Treehouse of Horror episode is a character. It should just be a bloody character at the very least. Or a costume. Either one. Hey, even if it was inconsistent, it was a costume. At least I'd say, at least this one's a costume. Yeah, I don't know. When you tap it, nothing funny happens, nothing cool happens. I mean, I thought maybe they would add this into the super premium, and like when you tap it, you get something out of it, like maybe some pills for the heights, or you get some, you get some of the heights currency, or you get some XP, or some cash, or oh god forbid some donuts. But no, it's just a simple NPC. You tap it and she goes, ah! That's pretty much it. And then she roars. That's it. It's like, wow, you couldn't even make it like another Big Claw where it gives us something, or like one of the leprechauns where you tap it and it gives you a bit of XP. You couldn't do that at all. You had to just make it a simple NPC. And it's £4.50 or $4.50. It's ridiculous. It's like so stupid. There's no benefit from this one. It doesn't give you any benefit for the update. It doesn't give you any benefit in terms of cash. It doesn't give you any benefit in terms of donut earning. It's literally pointless. It may as well just be a decoration. And the fact that they added that as super premium, I actually think is beyond, like, it's beyond offensive. It's actually just, I think it's just rude, personally. The fact that they would add that as a super premium, yeah, I just think it's scummy as shit. So I can't, yeah, I really just dislike it. I think it's the worst NPC of the year. And here's the building/decoration showcase for the first act. So I just want to talk about a few of these buildings and decorations, and kind of just generally talk about the decorations and buildings to come. So then in the top corner there, you can see the Geriatric Park Visitor Center. I think this one looks pretty awesome. I like it a lot. And then you can see just below that the Geriatric Park Exploration Pods. I actually really like this decoration. I think it looks really awesome. I think they translated it quite well. You got the helicopter there. Yeah, that one's fine. I think it's pretty cool. The dome, the Geriatric Park dome. I do kind of wish it was a tiny bit bigger, but I realize that obviously scaling and shit's really hard, especially when, I don't know. I think it's okay, but I would have preferred it if it was a tiny bit bigger. And then you obviously have the gate there, as well as the walls. I like the gate. I think the gate's cool. It's cool that we actually got the gate and they've not just added this as one big building. They've actually added it so you can have the different parts of the building, which is very cool. The gate's fine. The walls, I find, are a bit annoying to connect to it, but you got to like flip them in order to connect them. Like flip them the other way. So you can't like have the walls one way or the other. You can't rotate the walls like so. It's going to be tricky to actually like make a proper park. I think I can see that it's going to be a bit annoying. So I have a little complaint about the walls, but yeah, and obviously they should be free as well, cash at the very least, which is annoying. In terms of buildings to come, there's some cool ones there. Got the Geriatric Park Pond, which looks awesome. The well, it looks okay. The House of Pain, obviously you got all the Hibbert Island Bungalow stuff, the House of Pain, the Hibbert Island Bungalow. You got the New Invention Expo, the Rats Court Mall, which looks okay. The Rigel 7 Military Base, the Mad Dr. Hibbert's Manor, which looks pretty generic, like every other manor we've ever got. But still, it's to come. And the Van Brunt and Churchill Ad Agency, which actually I think that one looks quite nice, to be honest. And that's coming with Lard Lad, which could be pretty cool. So, yeah. Decorations, there's a lot of vehicles we're going to be getting. And there's a few things there here and there that look kind of cool. So, we'll have to see. But yeah, that's the Buildings and Decorations Showcase. So, that's pretty much all I've got to talk about in terms of the content and the structure and all that of the update. So, I'm going to quickly close this video out and we're going to talk about my overall feels. So this will probably be an unpopular opinion, I imagine, but I think this update is bad, personally. I think there is too much bad in this update for me to call it good. So, main reason is the structure. I think the structure is so garbage. And you look at the wiki page, right, and you see all these cool items that you're going to be on, that you can get. But then you realize they're all premium. And I think that's a major factor for me. When all of the cool items are premium and there's nothing that's really that great in the store or like in the price track, added on top the fact that a lot of the price tracks are just heavily like sort of screwed up. So like you've got like Act 1, which gives us a costume at the very start, and the rest is just decorations and buildings, or decorations and one building. Act 2, which is entirely decorations and one animation and a building, so no character, no costume. Act 3, which I think is the most solid out of all the acts. It's got two decorations, 2 buildings, and 1 character. I've got no complaints with that act. I think it's good. But then Act 4, you got 2 decorations, a building, a character, and an NPC. Which, I mean, it's fine, but they could have made that NPC a character, which is obviously the red devil realty sign. And I just think it's a massive wasted opportunity. And a lot of these like stuff that's in the store, in the prize tracks, like these in Act 2, for example, you got Sideshow Mel's monster truck, the future military jeep, the human-sized body bags truck. Add one of them in the store. What's the problem with that? Just add it for 10 donuts in the store. You can still add the item to the game, and then you can take something from the premium and add it in the prize track, and then give us another premium thing. You know, that way you maximize the characters you're adding, which is cool, and also you can still have your 4 premium items that you can charge players for, but you give something back to free players. It really annoys me when they do this, because it's just shit that we're getting in the prize track. Like, I don't give a crap about geriatric burns, and I don't give 2 shits about Bionaut Marge unless it's gonna be like a really awesome costume. Again, I'm holding my tongue on that because I'm not sure yet, but still, I don't really care that much. Comic Book Ram is the only thing that's kind of cool, the only character or costume that's kind of cool, which I guess we're gonna be getting. But I mean, even that is like the worst one out of the 2. Like, I think Panther Mars should have been there, to be honest, not Comic Book Ram, because Panther Mars is just way cooler than Comic Book Ram. And it's also weird that we're not getting the one for Homer as well from that episode. We're getting the one for Comic Book Guy, which is a bit of a weird pick. Yeah, like Sentient Lard is premium. The Over Under Beast is premium. Grandpasaurus is premium. Arguably the 3 best characters in the update. Although I have my complaints with Grandpasaurus, I think arguably the 3. Actually, no, I think Panther Marge is really cool as well. Yeah, like all the cool stuff is just premium, and it's annoying. Like in the costumes, the 2 cool costumes, the Mecha Charmers and the Test Subject Bart, they're premium. The coolest NPC, well, actually, no, I think the Sentient Red Devil Realty Sign is the coolest NPC. Okay, I'll give the update that. But then you have like the buildings, right? But even the buildings. So there's some buildings that I think are kind of cool that we're not getting, like the Geriatric Park Dome. Although I think it's scaled a bit weirdly. You know, that's not premium. Rats Court Mall, that's premium. I think the buildings is forgivable, to be honest, because there is enough. We're getting enough like cool free buildings. But there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I think that's okay, actually. 5 free buildings. Yeah, okay, no, I'll retract that criticism, sorry. I think the buildings are fine. The decorations are all a bit generic. Like, it's a lot of vehicles. I think when you have like a monster truck, a military jeep, a human body bag, a geriatric park jeep, the helicopter, the exploration pods, it's literally, and the Bionaut ship, it's literally majority vehicles. Yeah, and vehicles are fine, but they are a bit tricky to decorate. Like, there's not really much you can do with this park, right? I'm just imagining like actually trying to build this park, and I'm gonna have to obviously take in a bunch of decorations to sort of. There's no decorations from that episode that I can really throw in here. Now, granted, that might be an issue with the episode, but there's always tapped out exclusives, and also just tie in things from other Treehouse of Horror segments that would work. You know, I think that's what they've done, but they've added us they've given us like a loads of vehicles, and I don't know, it's like a vehicle overload, right? It's too many vehicles, unless this was a car update. Yeah, like I said, I personally think this is a bad update. It's not. On top of that, there's no Treehouse of Horror theme. You know. It's just dinosaurs, which I'm personally fine with, but again, I'm trying to take other people's opinions into consideration. It's basically a sequel for the zoo update as well. I like the zoo update though, so I guess I'm not too bummed out about that. And there's 2 super premium things, which is really annoying. That NPC is very annoying. So I don't care. I'm gonna say it's a bad update. I think it's generally a bad update. It's better than Love and War and fucking Springfield Enlightened, but it's better than those 2. Don't worry, I don't think it's worse than those 2, but it's definitely nowhere near the other 2 updates. It's nowhere near Simpsons Verse. It's nowhere near Rise of Robots. I think this update's kind of crap, okay? That's my opinions. There you go. I don't care if it's unpopular. I generally think this update is pretty fucking crummy. So, that's my opinions. Sorry this video is longer than it is. When it's like a bad update or a really, really good update, I tend to go over. When it's kind of like a mediocre update, the videos are always short because I have like nothing to talk about. But yeah, tell me your thoughts on this update. Do you agree with me? And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.